This week, the FAA releases the ARC report on a drop-in fuel replacement for 100 low lead. Failed sale of American champion aircraft results in lawsuit. The Gamera team comes closer to winning the Sikorsky Prize, and Boeing's commercial airplane chief announces he's retiring. I'm Ashley Hale. Welcome to Airborne on Aero TV. There may be hope for the future of available AvGas. The FAA has published the final report and recommendations from the Unleaded AvGas Transition Aviation Rulemaking Committee, a collaborative industry government task force of key stakeholders representing aircraft and engine manufacturers, fuel producers and distributors, operator groups, aviation associations, the FAA, and the U.S. EPA. The UAT ARC found that a drop-in unleaded replacement fuel that can be seamlessly deployed for the existing fleet of aircraft is not available, and that alternative fuels require significant assessment to ensure safety. In addition, to date there is not a market-driven reason to move to a replacement fuel. The group did make 5 principal recommendations. They are: implement a fuel development roadmap for AvGas readiness levels that identifies milestones in the aviation gasoline development process. Establish centralized testing of candidate unleaded fuels, which would generate standardized qualification and certification data. Establish a solicitation and selection process for candidate unleaded aviation gasolines for the centralized testing program. Establish a centralized certification office to support unleaded aviation gasoline projects. Establish a collaborative industry government initiative called the Piston Aviation Fuels Initiative to implement the UAT ARC recommendations to facilitate the development and deployment of an unleaded AvGas with the least impact on the existing piston engine aircraft fleet. The FAA says it is committed to developing a fiscally responsible action plan to meet the agency's goal of making an unleaded fuel available for most of the general aviation fleet to replace 100-octane low lead by 2018. There was supposed to be a big surprise announcement at Oshkosh 2012, whereby former Eclipse boss Vern Raburn and his wife Susan should have become the new owners of American champion aircraft. Notice that I said should have. As is often the case in aviation, few plans survive contact with reality. While a legal agreement was signed on June 8th, whereby the Raburns would purchase all the assets of ACA and start life anew as the new owners of a promising but struggling aero company, the current owners of American champion aircraft FRA Enterprises, Jerry Melhalf and his former spouse Shar, have decided not to honor it. Hence the lawsuit and a strange battle in the making. ACA's Jerry Melhalf has accused Raburn of being, quote, just unbearable, but also made a number of other statements which appear to be factually challenged. Raburn, who has been known to have a temper, seems to be trying to play peacemaker in order to save the deal they both at one point allegedly agreed to. According to Raburn, the suit was undertaken by he and his wife, quote, not to punish the Melhalfs, but simply to get them to do as they agreed. At this point, all we're asking for is for them to honor their agreements, and we'll do the same. We ask for no changes, just the terms of the June 8th agreement, nothing more. I don't want to be mad, I want to do this deal. Melhalf's attorneys think the sales agreement is not binding, but Raburn's attorney disagrees, hence the legal action. We're sure we haven't heard the last of this, and we'll do our best to keep you updated. Acting FAA Administrator Michael Huerta was in the middle of answering questions from the Senate Commerce Committee last week when the session was put on hold so that the senators could return to the floor to vote on a farm bill. Like many things involving the FAA, it's still on pause. The Hill reports that Commerce Committee aides say that the hearing will be rescheduled, but that no date has been set for the meeting. The delay is in part because the body is currently focusing a great deal of attention on the National Highway Bill, which has also been high on the radar of the operators of helicopter tours and others in the aviation community. An amendment to the highway bill offered by Senator Lamar Alexander would allow the National Park Service to restrict flights over certain areas, authority which is currently strictly the purview of the FAA. Huerta's confirmation in the full Senate is not a foregone conclusion, since the FAA Administrator does not serve at the pleasure of the President. Rather, his term is for 5 years, regardless of who is in the White House, and Republicans may try to block the nomination until after the November election. The NTSB announced last Thursday that it will hold a forum focused on general aviation search and rescue operations on July 17th and 18th, 2012. In the U.S., following the crash of a GA airplane, inland searches for the aircraft are conducted by the Air Force Rescue Coordination Center, who are supported by numerous federal, state, local, and volunteer organizations. The forum will concentrate on examining the regulations, policies, and procedures at a federal level and serve as a platform to facilitate dialogue between search organizations, technology manufacturers, and industry groups on the issues currently impacting the general aviation community. Additionally, the forum will spend a second day discussing emerging technologies and how they may shape the future of general aviation search and rescue. The two-day forum is being chaired by NTSB Chairman Deborah A.P. Hersman, and all 5 board members will participate. The Gamera program continues to defy the skeptics. Students from the University of Maryland's A. James Clark School of Engineering set an unofficial world record of 50 seconds for duration of a human-powered helicopter flight aboard their redesigned Gamera 2 quad-rotor aircraft, far surpassing their 2011 world record of 11.4 seconds with Gamera 1 and any unofficial flights of prior years. The time will be submitted to the National Aeronautic Association by Judge Chris Maynard. The validation process will likely take a few weeks. The team is trying to win the American Helicopter Society's Igor 1 Sikorsky human-powered helicopter competition, which requires that a human-powered helicopter fly for 60 seconds, achieve an altitude of 3 meters sometime during that time, and remain within a 10 square meter area. With its 50-second flight, Gamera 2 has come closer to the flight duration requirement than any other craft. The flight took place in the Record Armory on the campus of the University of Maryland. Additional flights are planned for August. You're watching Airborne, more in a moment.
Since its inception, Redbird Flight Simulations has been dedicated to developing new training technologies and processes in an ongoing effort to make aviation safer, more affordable, and more accessible. Consider Redbird's flagship flight training device, the FMX, a superior quality, full-motion, feature-rich advanced aviation training device priced with real-world flight training organizations in mind. With standard features that are anything but standard, such as wraparound visuals, a fully enclosed cockpit, quick change configurations, scenario-based training compatibility, and of course, an electric motion platform, the FMX serves up a level of realism that is simply unavailable in other training devices on the market. For more information on Redbird flight simulations, the Redbird FMX, and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com.